Self-quarantining.
And a quarantine order.
Quarantined in their...
Held in quarantine.
Quarantine.
The quarantine in place.
Quarantine for the required 14 days.
Hey, what's up, people? This is the QT, aka Quarantine Talks, and I am the JC, aka your friendly neighborhood Negro. And today I have with me on the show Miss Christal Jordan. Why should you care about Christal Jordan? Well, let me explain. For starters, she is a seasoned, I'm talking about all the Lowrys, public relations professional. Yes, that is the correct term. Go forth and use it. Who is the creator and CEO of Enchanted PR, a public relations company here in the ATL. All right. She also dishes celebrity talk and relationship and gossip on Fox 5 Atlanta and is a contributing editor at Rolling Out magazine. We are going to discuss pretty much everything. Her origin story, coming from Barnes and Noble's customer relations in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Jesus, to working with Miss Rhonda, Freeman, Baraka, and her PR firm at the historic LaFace Records. Then she clears up the difference in the words publicist and public relations, and most importantly, what makes a good one. We also talk about interviewing influential people and celebrities like Van Jones and Charlamagne Tha God, working with the legendary Chili and TLC and, Chili Sun Tron, and last but not least, vaginal rejuvenation.
Oh.
I said it. She and one of her clients is helping to save the vajayjays. Save the rainforest of vajayjays. Oh, man. We also do a deep dive into the show Black AF, the new generation of black millionaires, colorism, and of course, whenever you talk about colorism, we kind of have to talk about Tyler Perry. I do not make the rules. He just makes the shows. We're going to get into all of that, but first, message. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Quarantine Talks. I am JC, and today I got with me the lovely, accomplished Miss Christal Jordan. Hi.
Hey. Well, thank you. Hello.
I know who you are, but I usually like to start the interview out with, go ahead and tell people who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
I hate this part of every interview.
Why?
I don't know. I guess being a publicist is like my first nature is to talk about other people, before myself. But my name is Christal Jordan. I am the CEO and founder of Enchanted PR, also known as Enchanted Branding and Public Relations. I had to go back and change the name of my company to accommodate the switch in the market when social media and branding became a much bigger, not bigger, but definitely a needed service for clients along with public relations. So I've been an entertainment publicist in Atlanta since 2006. I've had my company since, really, I would say since 2010, but I was doing independent work before then from about 2008 to 2010 before we officially launched. We've been blessed to have worked with some really, really cool people. I've been a media trainer, writer, I write bios, artist profiles, media trained a lot of artists that I did not represent. And then I also, in the last 5 years, I've been a relationships editor for Rolling Out. I also have a segment on Good Day Atlanta where I talk about celebrity relationships. I had a podcast for about 4 years, and now I have a show on Rolling Out called Reality Check, and then I also have another show, kind of pop culture based on YouTube, titled Let's Get Crystal Clear. Okay. Oh, I like that title. Let's Get Crystal Clear. Yeah. You a hustler. I was doing my research on you. I was like, wow. You do everything. You do everything. I was like, what is it that I should have said, what is it that you don't do? That's how I should have opened it. You do everything. Oh my God. So are you from Atlanta? I'm not from Atlanta. I'm originally from Toledo, Ohio. Oh, wow. And then my family moved probably midway through, and then I split my growing up years between Toledo, Ohio, and Tulsa, Oklahoma, very strangely.
Yeah. Who's from Oklahoma?
Nobody. My mom just, she was a woman that needed a break, so she moved us to Tulsa, Oklahoma for a job opportunity. And so I grew up the rest of my years there, went to University of Oklahoma for college.
Wow.
And, started working in public relations. I always loved the field of public relations. And then I moved to Atlanta in 2005. So
Okay.
I consider myself a Georgia peach now.
Okay. All right. And so but how did you get into this business?
Well, like I said, I was doing public relations before I moved to Atlanta. So I was community relations manager for Barnes & Noble, which was a pretty big deal. One of my first jobs, I got a chance to really be involved with the Black literature movement and really helping Barnes & Noble to be able to be a part of that, because they didn't, the store that I was in, of course, I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They didn't really understand how to connect with the Black audience. And at that time...
Is it even Black people in Tulsa, Oklahoma like that?
Yeah, it's just Black people. Actually, you know what? That's where the Tulsa race riots were. Actually, that was Black Wall Street.
You're right.
So there's a rich history there that a lot of people don't know. Mm-hmm. So I was doing public relations. I worked for a hospital and a couple community coalitions, and I really enjoyed the field of public relations. So when I moved to Atlanta, I started looking for a job in public relations. I couldn't find a corporate job, but I ended up meeting a woman named Rhonda Baraka, who will forever be a mentor of mine. She had a company called Solstice Media Group that was basically entertainment. To me, it was the biggest entertainment PR firm here. At the time, she had everybody, because she used to work for LaFay. So she had amazing connections, and she, like T.I. and at one point we had T.I., the Affiliates, Escape, anybody that was Boyz II Men, anybody that was Sierra, anybody that was doing anything, she was working with in some capacity. So she gave me an opportunity to really learn a lot from her, and I loved it. It was very different. I came here wearing suits every day, and I ended up having to switch up my wardrobe and change a lot, because the climate of entertainment PR is very different than the corporate PR that I was working in. Even though it was always, hospitals a little bit more corporate, but Barnes & Noble was arts related, but still very different than working with, on a new project like Sierra. So,
yeah.
But I enjoyed it.
Whereas you might be in the boardroom, you out in the club. You know what I'm saying? It's a big difference. I came to work one day. We were doing a video shoot for Sierra, and I came to work in a Banana Republic suit. And she was like, "Where are you going?" Who said that? Sierra? Okay.
Yeah. She said, "Where are you going?" So I left because I didn't have any jeans. I was always a super prissy girl. I didn't wear jeans or sneakers or anything. So I had to go home, and I went to Greenbrier Mall and bought some baby fat jeans and went back to work. Yeah.
Oh, baby fat. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Good old days, boy. Good old days. So I missed it a lot. And sometimes, because I spoke with Rhea last week, Rhea Davis. Nice.
Oh, that's my little sister.
What exactly does a public relations specialist do? Because that is like, y'all are like the A&Rs to like, information that A&Rs are to music. Like that's what y'all kind of are to me. But go ahead.
I like that.
Give
that
like
and it's true, because a lot of people don't even know what A&Rs do. So it's kind of like one of those jobs. And I think public relations professional. If you are a public relations professional that represents an individual, then that is called a publicist. And people don't understand the difference between that. So when I was working for, like, I have a beauty client right now. I am the PR director, the PR consultant for that product. I'm not their publicist. You're a publicist when you represent a person. Okay. So I want to make sure people understand that first. So public relations professionals, like you said, we manage your public image, right? And that means we create opportunities. We figure out where we want to go with this public image, and we create opportunities for it, be that media, be it sponsorship, be it partnerships, or just integration with the public. We do everything possible to make sure that our client has a positive, marketable image that will result in them being able to sell product or to get additional opportunities. So that could, like I said, that could be anything from booking them on a television show to getting them, aligning them in a way that makes them attractive to a brand like Coca-Cola or something like that. Now, when a person secures that deal for Coca-Cola, then that is not a publicist's job. A publicist is to make you attractive to those deals, right?
Okay.
When you secure the deal, then that is either a brand special, someone that's doing your branding, or they're doing, it could be your agent or your manager.
Okay.
So what happens is a lot of individual publicists like myself, I had a small agency. We take on a client. We do a lot more than just represent them from a public relations perspective. So we started doing branding, and really it's in a sense managing, because we were securing financial deals for them. So if you secure money for a client, that is outside the scope of what a publicist or a public relations professional is required to do. Mm-hmm. But many of us know how to do all of it, because it's kind of a job where you have to be a jack of all trades. But I just want to make sure people understand that is not a requirement of the job. Right. So if you do have a publicist that is able to do that, then you have a great publicist and should be very appreciative. And you should also give them additional percentage of that deal. That does not come out of their monthly retainer for publicity.
So publicist, one.
Yes.
Public relations, everything.
Everything, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What makes a good publicist or public relations specialist, firm, corporation, team? And then when should you hire one?
Well, I think that question can vary individually, because it depends on your goals. I would say from a basic point, a good public relations professional is someone that can work with you effectively to achieve your goals. So everybody has different goals, and so I know for me, I wanted clients that had the ability to be very commercial. I look for people that's their goal. There's some people that want to have a very grassroots impact. That's not good for me, because I like being able to create the type of opportunities that really used to come, especially with more commercial type success. But I think it depends on, everybody should find someone that is very good for their niche and really believes in them. Your publicist or your public relations professional should truly believe and have a thorough understanding of your goals. Right? So if you tell them, when I first started doing this, like, people wanted to be on the cover of a magazine, or they may have wanted to do a milk campaign. Like, the milk ads were big over, crossover appeal to that. Yeah, like years ago. And one of the funny things, people forgot that Chris Brown had a milk commercial with little milk mustache before everything.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to Google that.
You got to look it up. He had a Double Mint commercial, which is very
I remember
possible.
the Double Mint commercial.
But he also he also had a milk ad, and milk was like it's the most American conservative, brand. So for him to have that was a really big deal. And so you're able to see how far his brand went off track from where they were initially pushing it. So, yeah,
he ain't no milk poster boy right now.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not. And I think a good public relations professional should be able to work with you to achieve your personal career goals, right? And they should be able to create a plan that gets you to those goals.
So now, with that being said, if we take this Chris Brown milk Double Mint Chris Brown to Chris Brown now. Do you think that is, would you say that is just kind of like, because at that time, like, Chris Brown was like 11, like 10.
He was a teen. He was young.
He was very young. So is it, do you think that, how do I say this, that the brand switched up because of him changing, or do you feel like that was just a bad publicist or PR team trying to put him somewhere that you feel like he didn't belong?
I think that his management and publicists were doing an amazing job with him. I mean, he was set to be probably the biggest star of his generation, if he still isn't. You know what I mean? He definitely was set on a great path. His story is tragic, and I think it's a great case study for public relations because of circumstances. Obviously, that ominous situation with Rihanna, he and Rihanna, right before the Grammys, turned his career into a different place. And there were several opportunities to get it back on track, but because of his mental state after that, they weren't able to do that. So the great thing about it, there's a happily ever after to his story, because he's so talented, he had opportunities to resurface, and now he has a different persona than he did before, but is still successful simply because he's so talented, and he's an undeniable talent.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would not have had time after time, opportunities
right.
and chances like he has. But it's just a case of someone being so talented and really, really created to be a star, that there's opportunities to do new things with him. And I think they've done a great job. I mean, his team, now, and he's very instrumental in that. Obviously, they've done a great job because he's maintained his success. I don't think it's ever going to be the way it could have been,
right.
but I think it's still
it would be a lot worse.
Oh yeah,
he could not have a career, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Do you ever feel like just listening to you talk now, I just kind of like in my mind I see Kerry Washington as Scandal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like, oh, God, he did what? Okay, now we got to do this. Now we got to fix this. Now we got to do that. Like, it's just all of these different kind of, the more I talk to more PR publicists, I kind of get a way better understanding of what you all do. It's like, okay, I can pull examples. I'm like, oh, okay. You're the Scandal of entertainment. Like, well, not the, Oh.
Yeah.
How many people are under your company now?
Well, I actually kind of retired from doing the publicist thing because I did it for quite a while. I still represent Shindley from TLC, and I also represent her son now, Tron, who has a new project out that we're really excited about. Chili is still very active. She's, TLC is touring. She's got television and movie offers on the table now, so she's constantly working, and we've been together for like 13 years now, so there's just I probably will work with her until I am not here anymore. And then I also have a beauty client, and then a couple of influencers that we're doing some really fun visual stuff for. But I just, working with individual celebrities over and over, it just was, I burnt out.
Too much? Okay.
I burnt out. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I started doing I started really focusing more on writing, and, to interview people, I get a chance to interact with them, get a great interview, and then they go on their way, as opposed to their issues being my issues.
Right.
And I just got to work that out. So it actually has been a good transition. And, I like having a few clients that I enjoy. I love working with this beauty brand because it fits in line with my passion, which is women.
What's the name of the brand?
The brand is called CO2 Lift.
Okay.
It's a facial product, a mask for your face that basically makes you look a lot younger. And then we also have a mask for your vagina.
All right. Vaginal rejuvenation in a box. So all right.
It's a great product. It enables women to provide self-care in a very intimate way that's very needed, and it's great. Yeah.
Some of y'all need that a little bit more than others, but we ain't gonna talk about
that. Everybody needs it, and Mother's Day is a great day. We're excited about some Mother's Day campaigns and stuff we have coming up. But it's a great product. It's owned by a Black woman that created it for women. So, I love passion projects.
That's really cool. That's really cool. That's really cool. What do you feel, because you've been interviewing way long before I even thought about picking up a camera or a microphone or anything. What do you feel like it makes a good interview? And what do you do if an interview is going bad? Like, how do you know that? How do you save it?
You know from the rhythm. When the rhythm is off, right?
Right.
You can tell when you're talking and the rhythm is off. I feel like there's a good interview when I can get them to open up about something that they haven't talked about. I think I was probably most intimidated. I interviewed Van Jones, and I was really, nervous about that. I also interviewed Charlemagne the God, and I was like, oh my God, you're going to interview Charlemagne, and he's famous for interviewing, and he's a great interviewer. But when, being able to talk to them and get them to express something that they haven't expressed before is, to me, what I think makes a great interview. And I think I was able to do that with both of them, and it was really cool.
That's always a good feeling when, just me personally, I just get people to talk. And people be like, I didn't realize this is going to be fun. I'll tell you all my business. I'm like, that's the point. But how should I ask this? What is a good way to get into the biz? Do you think for like somebody that's just like, you know, what's a good way to get into the biz or at least step your foot in? And then like, you know, of course with that personal branding. So like, cause those two go hand in hand. If you're going to be in this thing and you're going to be in front of people in any capacity, you have to establish a personal brand, like something that people can relate with. How do you, what's a good step do you feel like to do?
I think my formula for that is to take what you are authentically and then, you know, double it by 10. You know what I mean? So I think if you take who you are and your personality and you increase upon it and capitalize upon it, then it's going to be authentic. But I mean, you kind of have to step into it, but it'll feel authentic for people watching you. The worst thing people can do is not be authentic and try to do something that's opposite of who they really are, because you can never maintain that. So, but you do have to amp things up in order for them to make an impact, you know? Mm-hmm. So I know for myself, I mean, I'm super girly. I was always really girly. So name of my company being Enchanted PR, pink and white and silver, me always wearing pink and dresses. Like I made it bigger than life. Probably like for a while, my branding was like the weave, the long weave and the tight, long pencil skirt. Because I wanted it to be impactful. But it has to start with what's authentic to you. So I think that's the case even with artists. I mean, TLC is a great example. They are already tomboys. Jesus help us. They were so tomboys. But I mean, like prissy tomboys, girly but still very not into like, you know, showing their body or being overly sexual like a lot of girl groups, which was was refreshing at the time and still today. So when you take that's already true to them and then you just amp it up and make it bigger than life, that's why they're unforgettable. That's why there'll never be another TLC, because it was really from an authentic place.
I like that. Let's take your brand and multiply it times 10. If I can use that a little bit, I'm apply that to myself. That ain't here nor there. And who are 3 people that you haven't interviewed or talked to or worked with that you would want to interview or talk to or work with, and why? Go.
Obviously, Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
Obviously, I have attended own events. I've never had the pleasure of interviewing Oprah. I would, of course, want to because she influenced me so much when I was growing up. I want to interview Denzel Washington because I think that he's just amazing. He's my favorite actor. He always has been. And I love the fact that he doesn't do a lot of interviews. You know what I mean? Like the fact that he doesn't, there are a lot of people that they just talk all the time. They love to be in front of the camera. But to get somebody that doesn't really do it a lot, and when he does do it, you see that he really answers from a authentic place. Right. I would do anything to have the opportunity to interview him. Who else?
Oprah, Denzel,
and then I think my third one would be Chris Rock. I think he has a brilliant mind. To be able to apply intellect to comedy in a way that allows us to see ourselves and make fun of it. I mean, Dave Chappelle does that now, does a great job.
I literally, as you said that, I was going to ask you why why Chris and not Dave? I
think because Chris was first to me. Okay. Chris was the first person that really did that. Dave Chappelle does a great job at it, but to me, when I'm, growing up and watching comedy, I'm always a person that like intellectual comedy. I never just like stupid comedy. I always wanted comedy that made me think and made us look at who we are and question that. And I think that Chris Rock just does I think he's the best at doing that.
Okay. That's an interesting segue into our next topic, which is Black AF. Because I literally look at you. Did you know I was doing that?
I did not.
Okay, that's what I was about to say. Is she alley-ooping? Because if not, I just, I be kind of, sometimes I be doing it myself.
No, you did it. You did it.
Okay. But because me and another friend, we had this exact same conversation surrounding like Black AF or Black as Fuck. Because it has gotten like so much, it has gotten backlash and it has also gotten praise. Yeah. And I feel like that's number one what good art does, because good art polarizes. You either like it or you don't. If you feel on the fence about an artistic thing, then it won't good. It's not memorable. Right. So on the one hand, I feel like I didn't like it at first. Like the first 3 episodes in, I'm like, what am I watching? Because I've yet to see. I haven't seen Blackish or Mixedish or none of that, but I have seen Grownish. I have seen Grownish.
Have you seen Curb Your Enthusiasm?
So, is that okay? Which one is Curb Your Enthusiasm? That was the one on HBO, right?
Yes.
Okay.
With Larry David, the creator of Seinfeld, very much like Blackish and Black AF.
Okay.
It's the same thing. So I was a big Seinfeld fan.
Me too.
Big and I enjoyed Curb Your Enthusiasm. I probably didn't enjoy it as much as Seinfeld, but I did enjoy it, and you can see the correlation between the mind of Larry David in both. And I think that with Black as Fuck, that you can see the same correlation between Blackish and the fact that he challenges and pushes boundaries, which is just his personality. Right. And I have friends that are Kenya Bears. Like, I think the new age Black millionaire does not have a connection to some of the same core beliefs that we've conservative black culture, right?
Right. Yes.
So I have one of my friends is a lot like Kenya Bear. So watching it, I was like, that sounds about right. You know? I
like I said, because we got on that topic too about, like, personally, I love Tyler Perry as a human. I love him as a force. Yeah. I dislike a lot of his media. And, and because I'm the type of person that I think I'm intellectual. So, like, even in my passing, whatever, I want to kind of be wrapped into a story. I want to kind of like think, you know, I like intelligent things. And so, like, Tyler Perry's stuff is not that.
He won't give it to you. If that's what you're into, this is not for you.
This is not it. It's not.
I agree with you. I'm the same way, but I had to realize, and the problem is, we all surround ourselves with people like us, right? So all my good friends are just as intellectuals. We have these long, in-depth conversations, and then I will talk to someone else, and they'll just be looking at us like, "What are y'all talking about?" Like, I just want to watch, you know, something different. So I think that one of the things that Tyler Perry is probably one of the people that I'm going to say, like, another mentor in my head. Because of this, he was able to understand, and I don't know how he is personally, that there is a group of people that want this type of entertainment, that want this type of story, and they don't feel comfortable going to see Beloved, you know, which I was into. You know what I mean? So
that was a good movie.
There was. I mean, Super Soul. They're not watching Super Soul Sunday. You know, the people that are watching Medea's Halloween are not watching Oprah Super Soul Sunday. I'm tuned in on Sunday. I'm watching Super Soul Sunday and all this, but that's not for everybody. And I think the fact that he was able to serve this audience in such a way that he was able to give him the means to serve the entire Black audience.
Exactly.
Is just enough for me to say I you know. And
that was the same thing I said to her. I said, because my roommate loves a lot of Tyler Perry stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. I'm with you. Girlfriends are like, "Oh, girl, that was good." I was like,
It wasn't though. And so, like, we had this discussion, and I said to him, I was like, I'm gonna say this, and I don't want you to take offense at it. But I said, you're a simpler person than I am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's hard not to take offense.
And it's nice, I know, but it's like, you don't, like, you know, I'm not, my mind is always going like 1,000 miles a minute. I'm a creative, so I'm always thinking of this and that and how to connect dots and stuff like that. You go to work, you come home, you want to have a drink, you want to have a cigarette, you want to eat, and you want to kind of like take or watch something that takes you out of whatever your day is or has been for that hour. And then that's what you want to do. You don't necessarily want to think about what you're watching. Right. I am not the same way. So it's like, so it's like stuff like that, like where we have 5-minute dialogues regarding a door or a house. It just goes back and forth. You can't come in this house. Why can't I come in this house? Because I said you could come in this house yesterday, but the house is mine. So why can't I come in? And it's like, oh my God. I was like, are we really doing this right now? And so with Black,
you probably simplified that. I can't.
Oh.
Why are they going back and
Yes.
forth? Yeah.
Because you like dialogue. All right.
Yes.
You understand how it should go.
That's stupid dialogue.
Ooh.
And I won't even name some of the things because, like I said, I have so much respect for him.
But what he doesn't give you necessarily in let's say plot or dialogue, he gives you in visuals. Whereas the people are good looking. Don't do it. Most of the people are good.
but it's from a very stereotypical place, right?
Exactly.
So a black woman, a brown-skinned black woman who, got 2 kids down her luck, she gonna get on the bus and see this biracial,
light-skinned looking dude,
light-skinned, curly-headed Shamar Moore. Like it's so stereotypical, but it also is where a lot of us come from. Like that was the cute guy was the light-skinned, curly hair guy, and we didn't, and that was the white was the lighter was the good. You know what I mean? Like it's all that over. Why does he have so many muscles if he's driving the bus? Like
Well, the bus driver can't have a gym membership? Like what?
Usually, what I've learned dating is that men who have jobs and shit to do
don't care about that. I've said that so many times. Like I'm a real man. Okay,
but they're not gonna have the etched abs and stuff.
Right.
That's just like with a woman. If a woman is her body is too perfect, she probably doesn't have other stuff to do. That is, allowing her to focus on more than just her looks,
Most extremely, Kenya Barris actually said that. He said most extremely good-looking people are very boring. And it's because you don't have to have a backstory of subset when you are the typical quote-unquote attractive thing. People are attracted to you for the way that you look, so you don't really need to have depth if all you really do have is on the outside. You just have to keep that up. And and
then other people expect that from you because I've been around some very beautiful women in this business, and a lot of them, nobody wants anything from them besides that.
Right,
so they want to cater to what people want, and then it creates a very one-dimensional person.
Exactly. And so, like, watching Black AF, he was talking to Amanda Seales, and Amanda said something to him that I kind of agree with because after the 3rd episode, it started to win me over because I was like, you know what, I'm invested. I'm here. I've already did an hour and a half. We gonna soldier through it. However bad it is, we gonna soldier through it. I ain't got nothing else to do. We all on quarantine.
It's the quarantine.
So I was like, right around the 4th episode, it started to pick up and it actually kind of grabbed me and I started laughing naturally and, the jokes were kind of flowing. And she says that she feels like she likes the content, but she says she feels like Kenya Barris should not have played himself. And I agree for the simple fact of a lot of the things when I watch the show, a lot of the things that fall flat to me is because we have a show about Kenya Barris that is satirical about someone who's like Kenya Barris, who happens to be Kenya Barris. So you have Kenya Barris playing a character of himself while playing himself on a show of a character about himself. And I just feel like that's too much. You know what I'm saying? There's no separation from the work. And I feel like if Kenya Barris had hired someone else and pulled someone else in to play that role, a lot of the dots would have connected more. A lot of the jokes or whatever else would have connected, and it would have done a lot better, in my opinion. So that's my only real thing is that because to me, Black AF isn't good. It isn't bad. It's just kind of in between. Like if we had a season 2, I'm gonna watch it because I watched season 1. Like I want to see what happens, but. To me, that was the thing that didn't work for me. It was just solely Kenya Barris playing himself in a satirical role about himself. That's what I didn't agree with, and that's where I feel like the show fell flat. So,
I actually disagree. I like the fact that he played himself because I think that when you think about all the work that he's done, he is one of those voices that is redefining the new. African American story in media. I mean, in multimedia. So I love the fact of finding out what is the root of that blank. Because when I watched Blackish, it was so. Thank you. Somebody is saying this stuff that none of us say, but we all know. I think that I love the fact that the Black AF is not supposed to be this clean, crisp, joke ran. It's supposed to be just like
it treads that line between like classical black, classical white sitcom.
It's showing you the method to the madness.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like I said, I know people like that, and it's just, he's just living his life, and he's being very honest and being very transparent. And even to the things that are hypocritical, because to me, there's a hypocritical idea of saying black as fuck, and I think there's a lot of people that feel that way. But those same men go and get a woman that is the opposite of black as fuck. You know what I mean? You want a woman that looks almost exotic and not black as fuck, but then you want to say that you're all about black culture, but you don't really want a black woman.
To the point of that too, it caught a lot of flack because everybody light skinned, and I said, okay, first of all, I had to do a little digging. First of all, Kenya Barris's wife and Rashida Jones look very identical.
They do.
I did not know that he was married to that light of a woman. But what's interesting, but what's interesting is like most of his kids are dark though, with the exception of one. So it's like
but they're like they look swirly. Which speaks to why he said. I mean, if you look at Blackish, Tracy Ellis Ross is obviously biracial. You know what I mean? And I think that speaks to an issue with our culture. Is a black man is the symbol of virility and sexiness, but a black woman, in order to be that, she needs to be light skinned and look like she's mixed with another race. Right. And we still have that issue, and I think that the show just, his life. I think that's if you look at leading men in Hollywood, black men, except for my Denzel Washington, which is why he's my favorite. Most of them have a wife that doesn't look anything like their mother. Right. You know what I mean? I think that's no coincidence.
Right. So that was a thing to me, but I was like, and the
that's
other
his reality though. That's his reality.
And the other thing about it is like, okay, so I didn't find out that Rashida Jones was Quincy Jones's daughter until something like it just didn't. I never knew. I just thought she was just some white lady on Parks and Rec. I thought she was related to Amy Poehler. I didn't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I think for people too, it's kind of the pushback of the kids are obviously black, mixed, whatever. But like when you see Rashida, you don't necessarily think that was my first time seeing Rashida with braids. Like I had never seen, you know what I'm saying? So I think
she looks a lot like her mom. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've seen pictures of her mother. Yeah. Her mother looks like a Swedish woman.
She's a Swedish. Quincy Jones had 3 kids with a Swedish supermodel. So their mom is Swedish. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like their mom is white. So it's like, I think the pushback comes, it's like Rashida is like saying and asserting that she's black because she is. But I think it's just like when you see her and we see what she has been in, or you know what I'm saying, or portrayed as, you don't really kind of it's cognitive dissonance.
Her sister Kadada is the opposite. So Kadada, people know, I mean, and then too, I'm older than you, so we know that those are Quincy Jones' daughters. They were very popular in a certain time period. And nobody's gonna say Quincy Jones is not black.
That's a nigga if I ever seen one. You understand?
Quincy Jones produced Michael Jackson. He has all the black parts.
Right.
So I think the character is true to life for that. And I think there also is an issue. There's one side of us as a culture that praises that look, and then there's another side of it that discredits it. Right. Exactly. So I think that we have to just realize that we do come in all shapes and colors. The problem is in our culture we have always praised one over the other. Correct. So that's where the issues are.
But so where we stand is, you liked it?
I liked it. Okay. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you down for this?
Very brave. I'm excited to see what happens in the second season.
Okay. Yeah. Because like I said, he really got me I have said this time and time again, but I think it was either the last episode or the second to last episode where he was talking about his assistant being sunburned, and he was like, that's crazy. He's like, the one thing that nourishes all life on this planet is the sun, and it takes theirs away. I was like, I have said this so many goddamn times.
I never thought about that.
I've said it, and I've seen it because some that was watching it. Even before I saw this comedian, she said it on stage. She said, I feel like white people are aliens because the sun kills them. Like, how does the sun hurt how does it hurt you people? And I was like, I literally see that on TV, to see another black person connect those two dots. I say, yes, I think you got me. It took 8 episodes, but we here.
But what about the conversation with he and Tyler Perry? That was
very good, and the conversation with him and Tyler Perry, and the conversation between him, Issa Rae, Will Packer, all of that. I loved those 2 episodes too. That was super
great.
funny. That was super funny. And I feel like Tyler Perry. Because him and Tyler Perry on opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to creating black content. So that was really kind of a nice monumental thing to see. That was awesome. Both of those 2 dudes on one screen having a real conversation. Black conversation.
And I think Will Packer's kind of in the middle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there's some stuff Will Packer does, I'll be like, come on now.
Yeah.
And then some of the stuff that he does feeds it. So I think that he's kind of in the middle. I think it was, and then Ava is like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's classic Ava. Like, I'm not here for this, brother. This isn't constructive.
I love her. She may be my 4th. She's probably my 4th person.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with her.
So it has some really good moments. I just I shout out because like I said, I enjoyed it. Like I said, it took a little while. I was a little slow on the pickup, but I like it now. And I'm like, you know what? It hits a nice middle way in between, you know, like the classic quote unquote black comedy and then the more intelligent satirical.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I have so many friends that are in entertainment and very successful, and they are so like that. From the wife that is the trophy wife, but really wants to seem like she's more than the trophy wife, but really does want him to get that stunting car because she really does like that's all the people that I know. You know what I mean? So I thought it was brilliant, and it is unapologetic. And anytime art is unapologetic and authentic, you gotta love it.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's a generational thing, though? You feel like it's changing? Like that, the type of man that Kenya Barris is, that archetype?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely don't have, like, Sidney Poitier is gone. That type of character, I don't know men like that anymore.
Right.
I wish that I did, but most of the men that I know are way more into wearing Gucci and having a trophy wife than they are into having, you know what I mean? Like, so I think that it's just the way we're moving as a culture.
Problematic. So problematic.
In so many ways, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was the fun. I gotta come up for a name for that segment. It's just like I'm I don't know. I'm like, one of these days I'm gonna come up with a name for it or something.
I like that.
I'm still working with it. So the last question I ask most people during these times of lockdown.
Yeah.
Corona Bay quarantine boo, Miss Jordan.
I didn't expect you to say that.
I be getting it. I be getting them.
I did not expect
I be getting them.
Prepared. What do you mean by that?
You got what? Are you involved? Are you single? Are you on the market? Are you taking applications?
I am off the market.
Okay.
I am off the market.
Darn. So well, y'all heard it. She taking for it. She locked down too. So there you go. All right. Thank you, Miss Jordan, for taking the time out to come on.
Thank you. This was fun.
Thank you. See, I like this. Everybody, literally, this is the running theme, and I'm happy. Like
that means you're doing a good job.
Yeah, everybody's like, this is fun. This is fun. I just talked to Brittany Inge from Boomerang before, and she said the same thing. She said this was fun.
This was fun.
So yeah, cool. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, that's it, guys. We out.
Okay.
Later. And ladies and gents, that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the convo. If you want to be a guest on the show, or you know somebody that might be a good guest for the show, go ahead and send an email over to me. That's jc@theovt.com. Once again, that is jc@theovt.com. This podcast is available on Apple, Spotify, and Anchor, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment. And all of our content is now available on YouTube. We got video interviews, we got audio interviews, and original content, all on the channel. Just type in the OVT Network and hit subscribe. Stay sane, stay safe, stay creative. Peace.